St Vincent recently posted this picture on her Instagram. The caption reads, "Here I was paying homage to the hero's pose for Rolling Stone Germany. David Bowie was the best. He just was." This isn't the first time St Vincent has shown love for Bowie, and definitely not the first time she's been compared to him. In July 2016, the Daily Mail published an article called "The Female Bowie Who Saved Cara Delevingne." It managed to credit her for supposedly being responsible for Cara not doing drugs anymore, while also belittling her for being from a working class family. Whoa, tabloids. The article is credited with being the first one to compare her to Bowie, although it's been said plenty of times elsewhere online before 2016. She was compared to him even in the Pitchfork review for her first album, Really the Least Bowie-Like One. But why do people make this comparison? Is it right? Can anyone be the new Bowie or the female Bowie?
If I ain't budge, sayonara, for this must slide, sayonara.
To answer that, we need to find out firstly, who is St. Vincent? St. Vincent is Annie Clark, a 36-year-old, 37-year-old, on the day that I'm posting this. Happy birthday. She's a 37-year-old musician from Dallas, Texas. In 2008, she came out with her debut album, Marry Me, after being a member of the Polyphonic Spree and Sufjan Stevens touring band. After that came Actor and Strange Mercy. In 2014, St. Vincent released her self-titled fourth album, which put her into the mainstream, as well as bringing on the Bowie comparisons. When her self-titled album came out, St. Vincent became more of a character instead of just the name that Annie Clark goes by on stage. She released a signature guitar in 2016 and a new album, Mass Seduction, the year after. Then, last year, she released a stripped-down piano version of Mass Seduction, and here we are in 2019. That's a very brief summary of St. Vincent's career. I could easily go into more detail, but for this video, we'll mainly be focusing on Annie during the self-titled era, when there became a more clear distinction between St. Vincent and Annie Clark, and when she became more Bowie-like. But what does that even mean? When people compare Annie Clark and David Bowie, they're often really comparing St. Vincent and Ziggy Stardust, their respective alien-like alter egos. When this album released in 2014, Annie went from Annie Clark from Texas, oh, she has curly black hair, she kind of looks like a deer, nice guitar skills, cool woodwinds, to St. Vincent from space, never wearing anything normal with big white hair and a new live band and all that. Here's how Annie describes the self-titled character.
Every record I've made has more or less a kind of archetype. The last record was like near future cult leader.
St. Vincent as an album doesn't completely revolve around characters in a storyline, although there's a theme, the digital age and all that, but it's not character and story driven in the same way that Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars is. What really made St. Vincent a character was the live show, the Digital Witness Tour. It starts with an extended intro to the song Rattlesnake and her dancing to it in a very odd way, and it's not really dancing as much as it is like an extra visual that kind of makes you feel something, as she said it.
One of the bits of choreography that just came naturally, that I was like, oh, what if I do this? It was like 2 fingers going like that. Wow. But it wasn't this. It wasn't like, I'm cutting your throat. It was this, and it made me feel something, and I didn't know what it was. It didn't feel like gory, but it felt somewhat threatening. Yeah. It makes me feel creepy.
On stage.
Yeah, but in a good way.
Vulnerable.
No,
or
like
scared?
like powerful, creepy. Yeah.
It's kind of scary at some times, while also beautiful at other times. There's a whole range of emotions, and it really was performance art. At one point, there's a monologue that really gives you the sense of, oh, she's not from here, this is definitely something else. Here, being like Earth.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of San Francisco, and a very, very special, very warm welcome to the freaks and to the others.
I think we have a few things.
Just a couple things in common. So many things in common.
Like, for example, you were all, every single one of you,
Even those of you who are chit-chatting.
born before the 21st century. And sometimes when you walk down your street and you don't have your glasses on, you just superimpose the faces of very famous people onto every stranger you see. So you walk down the street and you're like, oh, there's David Bowie.
And also, one time when you were a little kid, you decided that you were gonna fly.
And so you strapped 2 Domino's pizza boxes onto either of your arms.
You jumped off your bed over and over and over. for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours.
But instead you landed. You landed hard and you bruised your knee and you scraped your eye.
Or you skinned your body.
But you tried again and you kept trying and you kept trying and you kept trying. Because you realize that that's what life is.
No matter how many times we jumped and we failed, no matter how many times we jumped and we got blindsided and stricken by love, no matter what happened,
We will never and we have never.
we never, ever, 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 ever gave up hope.
She would change it a bit each night depending on where she was, which helped relate to the audience, as well as the whole we have a few things in common thing. She's some cult leader from the future that wants to relate to you but maybe can't, especially with the odd kind of out of place passion at the end. The character is definitely somewhere in the uncanny valley. David and Annie both position themselves outside of gender by becoming their respective otherworldly alter egos. Annie played so much with identity, especially on Self-Titled, with the whole stage character, and also with songs like Prince Johnny and Huey Newton. Prince Johnny is all about a transgender protagonist and their story.
It's about, it's sort of an amalgamation of friends and people that I know in the downtown New York artist, freak, queer scene. I'm not entirely sure how obvious the theme of the song is, but I have found it especially gratifying to get tweets or messages from, LGBT youth saying, oh, thank you for that song.
She doesn't explicitly say, like, yeah, this song is about transgender people, but with that clip and other clips, and then combined with the lyrics in the chorus, it makes sense. It's about a transgender person, take my word on it. Annie Clark herself, like Bowie, is queer and has talked about fluidity and the spectrum of gender.
I think sexuality is fluid. Yes, I think gender is fluid.
So she has a weird alien-like character like Bowie. She's queer like Bowie and explores that in her music. But does that mean she's just copying Bowie? What makes her the next Bowie, if she is? What does the next Bowie even mean? Eric Smith wrote about this exact thing in the Houston Press. He wrote that there are 3 criteria for determining whether an artist can be a spiritual successor to icons like Bowie or Prince, for example. He said that they were prolificacy, that sounds so, okay, well, there were that word, innovation, and longevity. As far as prolificacy, Annie definitely seems to be working hard and often. She said to Rolling Stone that she doesn't take time off, and that work is more fun for her than fun. Annie's been making music as St Vincent since 2007, and we can't see into the future, so longevity is a hard one to determine, but I don't see her quitting or coming out of the spotlight anytime soon. There's still plenty of buzz around her and her music. Innovation is what I really want to focus on. Likely the most innovative thing she's done besides her music itself was her signature Ernie Ball Music Man guitar. At first glance, you can tell it's not a regular guitar. It's new and undoubtedly innovative.
Annie Clark, better known as St Vincent, is the first woman ever to create her own electric guitar for the mass market. It's a big step in changing expectations of the traditionalist canon of guitar.
You can see that her mindset is totally, hey, that's insane, but I can do it. A very forward, dare I say, innovative way of thinking.
One of the ideas in this latest iteration of the tour and everything was like, is this okay? And if the answer is, I don't know, then it's like, great, let's go forth, forge ahead.
It's safe to say that she's innovative and hardworking. The thing keeping her from being a Bowie or Prince level icon is that she's not exactly as mainstream as they were. She could still be the spiritual successor to Bowie already, right? Or is she just inspired by him and therefore similar? David Bowie is Annie Clark's idol. Even if it weren't for her saying that, it's easy to tell. The white version of her guitar is called the Thin White Duke. She gave a whole talk in Chicago about him, and her song New York is in part about him and his death, and much more. She's definitely inspired by him and deeply affected by his death, as she talks about here.
Bowie was the best. I mean, he's the best that we had, I think. And it was the first time in my life that I cried for somebody I didn't know. And there's a specific feeling that I get listening to Bowie
that is like mania, anger, melancholy, ecstasy, kind of all wrapped into one. That kind of feeling like you want your body to get outside of your skin.
Right.
That nothing else, no other music does for me.
Annie Clark's self-titled era character was in ways like Ziggy Stardust, but it wasn't Ziggy Stardust. It was a whole new thing that reminded people of Ziggy Stardust because it was queer and weird and otherworldly. And the mass seduction character was like Prince in some ways, but she wasn't copying Prince at all. Same with Marry Me and Kate Bush, or Actor and Andrew Bird. St. Vincent is her own new crazy thing, and people seem to need something to compare her to. The way Annie described listening to Bowie in this interview and the feeling she got, that's how I feel with her music. The melancholy of teenage talk and the party, the mania of Birth in Reverse and Now, it's insane. And I really can't describe the feeling you get listening to Just the Same but Brand New. It does make you, like, remember that you're alive. And that sounds cheesy, but I don't really know how else to put it. Like, it's just wild. Seriously though, she's original, inspiring, and innovative enough that me and plenty of other people have gotten this obsessed with her and her music. And that wouldn't happen if she was just a Bowie clone, the female Bowie. She's something new that people can't really describe. It's too weird, so they compare it to another incredible musical weirdo, David Bowie. St. Vincent is St. Vincent, not the female Bowie. Thank you for watching. Oh my god, this took so long. It didn't take long. Well, yeah, it did. Okay. I'm at school right now. It's 8:45 p.m. It was a half day today, so I spent 8 hours editing today and 7 hours yesterday. You can do the math. This took a long time. I really hope you enjoyed. I don't remember the last time I've put this much effort into anything, period. Okay, goodbye. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe. You know what to do.